Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Wednesday, September 28th, 2016. I'm Fredicia Liburd. A press release from the Premier's ministry dated September 20th states that Premier the Honourable Vance Amory recently met with UNESCO officials Catherine Grigsby, Director and Representative of the Cluster Office of the Caribbean, and Antonio Maynard, Secretary General of the St. Kitts and Nevis UNESCO Committee. The matter of how UNESCO could better serve the interests and the development of Nevis was discussed during the meeting. Premier Amory raised the matter of the organization assisting in the ongoing educational reform process and its continued assistance with the preservation and development of the rich and diverse cultural heritage of Nevis. The issue of Charlestown being considered as a UNESCO World Heritage Site was also raised. It was also noted that UNESCO had approved a grant of $20,000 for the purchase of a set of steel pans as part of the ongoing development of the art form in Nevis. These pans, when purchased, would be placed in the Gingerland area to allow the students at the schools there to learn to play the steel pan in larger numbers. This is part of the contribution of UNESCO to the development of cultural expression among our people. As stated in the release, the Premier was very pleased with the continued collaboration of the organization in the development of the people of Nevis. In more local news,
I believe this area is one that persons who choose to live here would certainly enjoy.
Minister of Lands and Housing, the Honourable Alexis Jeffers, made that assertion on Monday when he visited the site of the newest housing development project for Nevis. That project is carded for an area called 14 acres at Madden's Estate, and Minister Jeffers believes persons who choose to live there would find it comfortable.
There are various amenities here that one would say you would enjoy when you live on $1 million property. But of course, we are making this available to Nevisians who should be able to own a home and live in any area here on the island of Nevis and enjoy the various amenities that this island has to provide. At nights, persons will be able to sit on the porch and have a good view of Antigua in terms of the lights coming from Antigua. You also have the wind farm, which is next door. Then as you look further down to the ocean, of course you have a panoramic view of the entire Atlantic coast stretching from Butlers all the way around to Potworks. And then way in the distance you're looking at the Medical University of Americas down at the Potworks area. So indeed this area would be one that one can be proud to call home. Normally we would subdivide these lots into just over 5,000 square feet lot. So that will give you an idea as to what we do in our housing development. But we believe persons should have enough space to do backyard gardening or whatever expansion that they would want to do over the years to come.
Potential homeowners, Minister Jeffers advised, should visit the Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation NHLDC at Bellevue to initiate their applications.
There are some applications that have been at the corporation for some time, and persons would have had challenges meeting the conditions of the commercial banks. We are hoping to make that a little bit easier. Not necessarily easier in the sense of providing a home to give them to go and live, but easier to access the financing and easier for them to repay in the end as well too. So I would say by the latter to the early part of November to the early part of December, we should have construction started here. But of course, like I said, we'll be proceeding shortly with the infrastructural work to ensure that we have electricity, water, and road in place shortly, so that persons who are to come here first and foremost to live will have those amenities available to them. So this I hope would be a project that would be built out over the next I would say the next year and a half, 2 years should be built out, because there are 32 homes, and based on the contractors that we have on board, they normally provide quality work in a reasonable period of time, so persons should be able to mobilize and come here to live shortly.
Minister Jeffers is also the chairman of the NHLDC Board of Directors. The Charlestown Primary School yesterday, Tuesday, September 27th, became the recipient of 1.3 acres of land located at Nugent Heights. The gift is a result of a public-private partnership between James Gaskell and Hastings Daniel and the school.
This is a 1.33 acres of land that the people of Nevis are getting from the Gaskells. I'm very, very much pleased, and as a matter of fact, I am knocked off my feet by that gift. It will be fenced, properly fenced, high-class fence, with an electric fence. It will have a 20-foot container for storage and for management. He will provide all the farm implements, all the seedlings.
Gaskell urged the students and teachers of the Charlestown Primary School, as well as the Ministry of Agriculture, to use the land for its intended purpose.
In the same way as the Ministry of Education look after the cooks and arrange the cooks at the kitchen, so we would request the Ministry of Agriculture, who better, to arrange the staffing for here, because this is a most important project and it cannot be left to fail.
Principal of the school, Latoya Jeffers, thanked Gaskell and Daniel for their generosity.
Mr. Gaskell and Mr. Daniel, they have been huge contributors to the Charlestown Primary School. And with this presentation this morning, we can see the extent of their generosity. It is hoped that with this school garden, the students would have an appreciation for agriculture. They would want to eat more of their vegetables because they had an opportunity in growing what we are providing for them. It is also hoped that they would extend it to their homes, start small vegetable gardens at home, so we can start eating more of what we grow here.
Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Wakely Daniel, as well as his Assistant Secretary, Kevin Barrett, along with teachers and students of the Charlestown Primary School, witnessed the presentation. Still to come,
we just want to extend our gratitude to the CJ's Electrical Company for this kind gesture.
The details after this break.
As a responsible taxpayer, you help to finance free health care at all health centers on Nevis. Thank you for putting country above self. This message was brought to you by the Inland Revenue Department, Nevis. Be a responsible citizen.
Welcome back. CJ's Electrical Services today donated 4 fans and a microwave to the Alexandra Hospital. Representative of CJ's Electrical Services, Jervon Liebert, outlined the reason for the donation.
I came to visit a friend the other day at the hospital, and just while talking to the friend, I stood in need of certain things, so I just decided on behalf of my company, I just donated a few fans and a microwave.
Liebert then presented the appliances to Hospital Administrator Gary Pemberton, who expressed his gratitude.
On behalf of the patients and staff of the Alexandra Hospital and the Flamboyant Nursing Home, we just want to extend our gratitude to the CJ's Electrical Company for this kind gesture of donating some funds to the Alexandra Hospital. We know at times it can get very hot on the wards, and I'm sure the nurses and the patients will benefit greatly from these funds. Also, the microwave will be put to good use. So we just want to extend our big thank you to CJ through their representative, Jervon Liebert, for this contribution. I encourage other persons out there to make the necessary donations to the hospital. But first of all, I encourage you to just make contact with the administration so we can give you an idea of some of the things that we are in need of here at the hospital. So once again, thank you very much.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Nicole Slack-Liebert, welcomed the partnership with CJ's Electrical Services.
The Ministry of Health is pleased to receive your donation. We often say that health is not the business of the Ministry of Health, but everyone's business. And we welcome partnerships with various businesses, organizations, and individuals. And so we congratulate you for recognizing your importance to the field of health. and we look forward to the beginning of a long partnership with CJ's Electrical Services.
The presentation ceremony was held in the Alexandra Hospital's conference room. Commissioner of Police Ian Quealy says the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force expects its officers to maintain the highest standards of integrity and will not condone wrongdoing. His remark follows the detainment of a police constable as a result of his involvement in the introduction of contraband into Her Majesty's prison. A release issued by the police says the incident occurred on Tuesday, September 27th, about 8:30 p.m. A concurrent investigation into the incident is being conducted by the Criminal Investigations Department and Her Majesty's Prison. Commissioner Quealy says officers who engage in corrupt practices will face the consequences as prescribed by law. St. Kitts and Nevis and St. Vincent and the Grenadines are the only two of Taiwan's diplomatic allies who spoke in support of Taiwan's participation in the international community at the United Nations regarding Taiwan's open bid to play a higher role in international affairs. Taiwan said it has taken note of the deafening silence on the part of some of its Caribbean and Latin American diplomatic allies during the Marathon September 24th session. Taiwanese media observing the proceedings at the UN headquarters in New York said up to Saturday, only 2 of Taiwan's 22 diplomatic allies around the world expressed their open support for Taiwan to be allowed access to international bodies, including UN agencies. During the general debate on Saturday, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, was the only Caribbean leader to express support on that day for Taiwan's participation in international bodies, including the United Nations. Taiwan is eager to share its progress and development successes with the rest of the world, Prime Minister Harris said, adding that he welcomes new opportunities for Taiwan and its people to be warmly welcomed and integrated into the international fraternity of nations as a global player. Taiwan had approached its diplomatic allies, half of which are in the Caribbean and Latin America, to support its bid to attend the 2016 Assembly of the International Civil Aviation Organization, which opened on Tuesday in Montreal. Taiwan has always sought continuous support from its allies for participation in international bodies like the World Health Organization, the UN Convention on Climate Change, and other humanitarian and non-political world bodies. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I'm Fredicia Liburd. Thank you for viewing.
Truly, one of the few places that has an untouched beauty that has captivated the hearts of many. Nevis is everything you imagine.